Welcome back to another video. Hope you enjoyed the last one where I talked about the jungle base expansion that I've been doing. Still haven't figured out exactly what I want to do with the first floor, but I will come up with something eventually and then I'll kind of go through the building process with you. But in this video, I want to talk about a server project that a few of us have been working on. So I play on this server, Terra Mirus, with a few other people. Energizer Bunny, Airy5416, Death Ninja, and a few other people. And Airy5 and Energizer Bunny, both for a few servers now, have wanted to build a railroad. But as a lot of people know, minecarts in this game have sucked for a while now. We decided with this server, because Mojang had been working on experimental minecarts, but that wasn't an option for us with the server, we installed a mod called Express Carts. And so minecarts can go basically as fast as we want them to. We have them currently set to go 32 blocks a second as opposed to their regular 8, which is a massive upgrade, as you may have been seeing here in my field of view. The other thing that's nice, and you'll see it here maybe, they slow down considerably on these unpowered rails. Now, why is that? It's because everything kind of looks the same except for the fact they're unpowered. It has nothing to do with them being unpowered. With this mod, you can do config express carts, block speed multipliers, and with that, we configured it so that on cobblestone slabs, like you see here, they will only go, I believe it's like I think it's a quarter, maybe a fifth even, of the original speed, so 32 blocks a second. And so what's nice about this is, like, if you can imagine this is a station and I'm waiting for a train or a minecart to come through. If it's coming through at 32 blocks a second and it hits this block and goes back, I am not going to be able to right click that in time. But what you're going to see is when this next one comes through here, I'm going to have a little bit of time to right click it before it just absolutely zooms off like you're seeing here. And it is absolutely zooming. So this current double track here takes us to Area 5416's base. And I'm just going to call him Arian for short. It just makes it a lot easier. Initially what we were thinking, let me actually take you to the large map we have over here. Initially what we were thinking was making this a continuous loop. And so it would start like right around here would be one of the stations. It would go to Arian's base here, and then it would go over to where it is here, and this would be my station, come along the backside of Remembrance Island, and then we would put like a little station like maybe here, for example. Then we would branch off to Energizer's Bunny's base, Death Ninja's base down here, and then off of this station here, a branch over to this cherry tree here, which is another player's base, Sourmouth's base. And that was the initial idea. And again, it was going to be a loop, and then you would have branches coming off there. The thing we didn't fully realize until we started setting this up is that minecarts have different speeds when a player is in them versus when there's no one in them. So the minecart actually moves a lot faster if a player is in it compared to when it's just rolling along by itself. And you can't have them going on a continuous loop at that point, because if someone that breaks up the cycle, because we found that just going from Arian's base to mine, it would catch up. A minecart with a player in it would catch up to a minecart that did not have a player with it like within seconds. It was absolutely insane. So instead we came up with this system where you have two that are going to be going back and forth between mine and Arian's base. And then you're going to have to get off here, and then you're going to have another station here, and this will go from Arian's to that base that I was talking about going to the east here. And he's been working on that here. So it's a little bit not as convenient, but it was basically the only way we could get this to work. The other way that this is going to be working is, again, with the Express Cart mod. You have the option, to configure express carts and load chunks. So essentially the minecart, the express cart, is loading the chunk as if it were an ender pearl in a stasis chamber. So that's how we can have all of these running, and there's only going to be like a handful, so it's not really going to cause any lag or anything. It's just going to be like another player. It's just kind of traveling back and forth constantly. It's kind of how you can think about it. The biggest issue was, you may have seen on the other side, they've just kind of been hitting a powered rail and going back like that. Except here we have the block unpowered so that it can sit here. So essentially the idea is every 15 seconds, which is about what it is, if a player comes down through here, they can get in this minecart and they're going to have to wait a little bit, but the other cart is going to return on this line. When it hits this detector rail, it's going to power this powered rail, the one that I'm currently sitting on, and it's going to send this cart away, and then it's going to, that one is going to sit there, and it's going to sit there until we come back. So we can just go ahead and write it. And like I said, it is very fast. And you can see, so these are just both being powered by that lever, so there's no redstone going on. Whereas at this other station, oh boy, is there redstone. So we travel back, and that cart is still sitting there. But now we've arrived, we've activated that detector rail, which has powered that power rail, and now that cart is off. Here's the thing though, we have two powered rails going on. So what happens when this minecart hits this detector rail? It's going to power that powered rail, all well and good. But then this rail is going to go across and it's going to hit this detector rail and activate this powered rail that this one just got to and is supposed to be sitting on, unpowered. So I had to do some redstone. This sucked. 6 hours of work, I think, is how long this took. Essentially what happens is, so this redstone dust, each of these are under the detector rail. So the detector rail for that line is there and that line is there. We are observing it and we are creating a T flip-flop there. And you can see both of them activating. When this one activates, it goes along the blue line, and this is the line to initially power that powered rail there. And then it's the same way with this one, except it's now the yellow line. The biggest issue is when one of those gets powered, the other's power rail needs to get locked from being powered. It needs to not be denied being powered. So what you need to do is simultaneously off of this blue line that goes to power this rail, that same one needs to hit this super long delay comparator signal. And what this does is it puts out power and it keeps going along this red line and it locks this repeater for a duration of time. So when that minecart goes off, what you'll see is that it's going to activate this and it's going to try and power this one, and it will the first time, but then the signal from the comparator over there is now going to lock it like you just saw there. And then it's the same way off of the blue line. So off the blue, off the yellow line. So coming off the yellow line, now we go into the pink circuit, and this is a delay again, and that just runs all the way back along and is locking this repeater. The issue we were having, well, we had a lot of issues, but the main issue that we finally, that was a bad ender pearl. Ignore that. The main issue we were having is, I believe, if a slime, so this is like the slime line and this is the honey line because we were doing testing. When the slime minecart returned, it would send off the honey block minecart, and the slime minecart would sit there. It would do exactly what it was supposed to do. But if the honey minecart returned, sending off the slime minecart, the honey minecart would then get powered again and it would go off again. And if you're just looking at this, and initially we didn't have any color coding, which also really didn't help, it just didn't make sense because these circuits are the exact same. They're just mirrored essentially. what I ended up figuring out by watching it just constantly, repeatedly, and then finally by putting in some of this wool and stuff underneath is, for whatever reason, the delay on this one can be just 4 repeaters, and that is enough. This one needs to be 8. I cannot figure out why that is the case, but it is. It doesn't work with 6, it has to be 8. But in doing that, and that's why there's not even any wool under it, because it initially was just this, and then this redstone connected over into the remainder of that to lock over there. So when I finally figured out to extend it, I haven't even put wool under it because I just haven't wanted to mess with it because it was 1 in the morning at that point. But it's working, it's fine. I've tested it with no players because it's just constantly running now. So it works with no players, it works with just 1 player using it on either side, and it also works with 2 players trying to ride it at the same time. It works, and we're not going to touch that anymore. We're going to bury it. The next thing that we're going to do is we kind of need to figure out where the next station is going to start, because at every endpoint on a line, this circuitry is going to have to be repeated. So it's a lot of redstone. Maybe it could be condensed. That's not one of my fortes when it comes to redstone. I can make it work. It's just not going to be pretty. But it was just such a pain trying to do this. I can't even tell you all the different iterations that we worked with, and this is the one that finally worked. We had tried copper bulbs at one point. Yeah, it got insane. But it works. And I think it's good. The only thing is, again, you kind of have to wait a little bit for the train to arrive. The one other redstone aspect of this that we're going to add is further on down the line. We don't exactly know where yet, maybe like right there. Is we're going to have another set of detector rails, and it's going to activate a bell system so that you have some warning when a minecart is going to arrive. And then you know that at the same time, the second it arrives, the other one's going to take off. So that's where we're at. We have the one going between me and Arian's base so far. It's not been fully, like, the tunnel was just kind of dug out and lit up. We haven't really decorated it or anything. Same with on the exterior part. If we get out there, we have a little bit of some foundation laid, kind of looking like larger, rails, but we have not fully finished that off yet. We can also kind of mess around with some of the powered rail aspects and that kind of thing. But it is going to be a very large server build. Arian's kind of taking point on it. I just kind of was helping with the redstone once we figured out the issue with the speeding minecarts, and I also think I just bumped this one. But yeah, I just kind of helped with the redstone, and I'll be doing the redstone on it. But he's going to be the one that is going to be, mapping it out, decorating it, and all that kind of thing. But it's going to be a really good server project, I do believe. I think it's going to turn out great. I think it's already going pretty well now that we know how to make the redstone work. But I hope you enjoyed that little talk about our rail system, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next video.